Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I will be showing you more of my castle. So if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. But you also may have seen my live streams where I was building a castle. Maybe you were even watching live. But that castle, although I have not done any more live streams for a little bit, I have built more, and today I will be showing you what I have built and just kind of do a video to have just a tour around the whole castle, because I don't think I've really done an actual tour, just straightforward tour of the whole castle, showing you every part of it. I've just done live streams where I've been building it. So this video will be a little virtual tour of my virtual castle in Minecraft, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the castle tour. Alrighty, here we are at the gates of the castle, and now let the tour begin. We're going to open the gate, and here is our first little bit of historical accuracy. I put in this cool little feature called a murder hole. So basically what this is, I'll open this and I'll go up here. This is a defensive feature where when somebody is attacking the castle and they're trying to get into the gate, they have to, there's kind of like an airlock type of thing. So there's two gates. So if they bust through this first one, well, now there's a second one. So they have to come in here to try and break this one now. But there's the murder hole above them. So, whoops. While they're trying to break this second gate, you know, you can have people up here shooting arrows, dropping things on them, like, you know, rocks and boiling oil. Sometimes they would even do that, boiling oil. So, you know, not fun. It's quite the deterrent. Anyway, that's our gate. It's our gatehouse. So we come through there, and let's see. Now this is kind of going to be the main courtyard when you first enter the castle. But let me show you a bit more of the defenses. So we go up this little staircase here, and this is how you enter this little passageway, which has the murder hole, and it also has these arrow slits. So if people are out there gathering at the gates trying to break them down and get in your castle, and you can shoot through here at the arrows. There's only a tiny little slit, so it's a lot harder to aim an arrow through this tiny little slit. So then on the other side here we have what I guess I've kind of decided is a guard house, I guess, kind of where guards are stationed. Oh, and it started raining as I went inside here, so that's nice timing. But yeah, we got a fireplace here, and this is kind of the first little entrance room. And let's see, we can go up our staircase here, and so this little room here is like another floor. So then this here is like another room with a level of defense where we got arrow slits, and it's just kind of another station where you can be firing arrows. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Really with the rain sounds? Fuck off. Okay, we are going to turn the fucking sound off for the game. God damn. So this is going to be like another room where we got another level of defense, and just kind of like another station where archers will be stationed and firing out the arrow slits at invaders. And we got some nice decorations on the wall. That's I think I talked about that in my video where I showed the village of how medieval buildings and the interior of the medieval buildings were not all drab and stone and dark and dank, but were actually quite ornate and decorated and had all kinds of paintings. So that's what I did with this room. We got some nice painting on the wall, and some tapestries there, and so this is kind of like the this is kind of be where the guards would sit down and eat, and sit next to the fire, and there's some seats here next to the windows. This is kind of like another feature of castles where next to windows you would kind of have a little recess here, where you would have seats on either side of the windows. So yeah, it's kind of like a nice little room where the guards and I'm not sure you would call like the little personal army that you have defending your castle would be stationed. And then there is the top of the gate. This is what you have here is these things sticking up. They're called crenulations. And basically the point is you have these big shields to hide behind, so when people are attacking the castle and invading, you have something to kind of have a shield that you can hide behind, while because they're going to also be shooting arrows up at you and launching stuff at you. So you want to have something. You want to have something you can stand behind and have a defense, and then you can step out from behind and shoot arrows. And so yeah, it would be a pretty wild place to be during a siege, because there'd be all kinds of things flying up here, arrows and all that. So that is the gate, the main gate, and the guard house. Oh yes, there's also a ground level that I didn't look at. So up here, this little passageway went up the staircase. There's also another level that goes down, and then this is kind of like a storage type of cellar, more type of room. Not really a cellar, it's not below ground, but I put in here a nice little detail of some ballistas being stored in here. So maybe if there's a siege, they'll wheel out the ballistas and use those as defense. And then in here we have another chamber where this is the outer wall. So there's another little station where you have an arrow slit and just kind of a extra little piece of defense, so that if there are people out on this side, you have a little slit here so that you can fire some arrows at them. And I did this nice little thing here where I used doors to make it look like a cabinet. So you have some crossbows in here and some odds and ends. I decided to also add in a prison. So there's this added little detail of down here in this part is where we have a cell, one single cell, and a little cautionary detail there. You don't want to end up in the prison, because you might not make it out. You may just be in there forever. This here is that arrow slit on the outside. So you can see here that there is a little spot here where attackers could walk up this little hill, and then this could maybe be a weak point where they could get up the wall, or maybe try and damage the wall here. But there's ramparts and crenulations where people would be dropping stuff on them, and as a nice little added bit of defense, there's an arrow slit here, so that you wouldn't really want to walk up here, because immediately you would get an arrow straight out of there headed straight at you. So yeah, and then beyond this point, that's the next part I'm going to show you. You can see that there's this sheer cliff here. So that's another part of castle building, is whenever you can use a natural bit of terrain as part of your defense, it's an added bonus, because that's less of the castle that you have to build. So this little part here I showed you, there's a door to the outside, and then it takes you along these ramparts here, and we'll walk up these ramparts, up this wall. And you can see here that this is about the point where the cliff kind of drops off and it gets real narrow, so there really isn't any room for any attacking any attackers to walk up here and, you know, like, look at this. It's very narrow. There's really no way you could get anything over here. Any sort of siege equipment or any, really more than one person standing here at a time. So at that point, this cliff kind of comes in and offers this natural defense where, you know, you'll notice that this wall isn't really as tall or as well built as the rest of the walls, and that's because it's sitting next to this sheer cliff, so it doesn't really need to be. The cliff alone is defense enough. So the wall is just kind of there as an added bonus, but it's not really necessary because, well, nobody can really get up here. So I'll continue walking up these ramparts, up here to these two towers are the second gatehouse. So there's a second gate on the other side, and I'll show you a bit of the inside of these two towers of the gates. So in here, I had a lot of fun building the inside of these. I kind of put in a bit of realism into the architecture and the way it was built. Like, for example, we have the ceiling here is kind of arched, and I put in this beam going across, and these wooden pillars, just kind of as a structural thing, as it kind of adds some realism of you know, in order to prop up the ceiling and not have it fall through, you have this beam in the middle and the wood holding it up. So that's probably the part I enjoy the most about this, is kind of, you know, adding in realistic things like this, where you have the you know, the idea of, you know, load-bearing beams and things like that you'd see in real buildings. Because, you know, Minecraft doesn't really have any gravity. You know, I mean, like sand blocks and gravel blocks have gravity, but that's about it. The rest of Minecraft doesn't really have any gravity at all. You can have things just floating in midair. So it's an added little thing when I'm building this, where I have to think about, how would this work structurally? How would it work with the gravity? Since, you know, I can't really, you know, trial and error figure it out because there's no gravity. So, you know, anything I put down is just going to float there in midair. But yeah, I have a lot of fun figuring out, you know, the structural aspect of how it all works. Like, for example, an added little bit of realism I put into the castle is that any wall or tower, any part of the wall that is facing the outside, or, you know, where it could be subject to siege and siege engines, like, you know, like trebuchets or mangonels, or what's the other one? You have trebuchets, mangonels, and I forget the other type of catapults, but, you know, catapults that'll be hurling objects at the walls. So I made them a little bit thicker. So I think a Minecraft block is maybe, if you were to put it into realistic measurements, maybe like 3 feet across, maybe. So I kind of went with that and said, you know what, I'm going to do 2 blocks thick for any outside wall. So that makes it about 6 feet thick. 6 foot thick, which, I don't know, I feel like that's pretty realistic for a castle wall. I feel like having a 6 foot thick wall would be a pretty good defense. That would, you know, hold up to some battering. But here, again, we have the same exact type of gate, where we have the airlock and we have the murder hole, where you can kill lots of invaders, and then some arrow slits. But then we have the second tower, and I had fun figuring out these kind of walkways. I had to figure out, you know, like how to, you know, get the staircases to all fit in here and work in a way that made sense. So I kind of ended up doing these wraparound walkways where staircase goes up there, and then it goes up there, and it kind of wraps around, and then And here, I did the same sort of thing with the beam. And then this staircase goes up to the top. And up at the top here, we have just kind of a little room here where it's not really a defensive thing. You can't really shoot any arrows out of these windows or anything like that, but it is maybe more of a helpful thing to be able to kind of see what's going on, and you can see a long way from up here, and you can kind of get a bird's eye view of who's attacking and what's going on. So those are the two little twin towers there that are the second gate. So that is the second gatehouse on the opposite side of the castle. And over here, I have not finished this wall yet. I've kind of put in the basic structure of the wall. I may actually even change this a bit. I was thinking about maybe I will just take this gate and move it this way a bit so that it makes the inner part of the castle a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll just move it forward this way, and then I'll have to, change the wall too. But for now, I just put up this wall. I still have to finish the top of it and, put in the ramparts and stuff and add in some more texturing and gradient with the different textures. But then we have this tower over here where I decided to build a circular tower because I thought, well, it's kind of boring if the entire castle is all square towers and stuff. So I put in this circular tower, which was fun to figure out because it's fun to figure out how to make a circle with blocks. The interesting part of this tower, there's not really anything on the inside going up the tower. I haven't put anything in there yet. I'm not even really sure what to put in there, but I'll put something in there eventually, figure out what use that has. But basically the interesting part is I put in kind of like a little basement cellar type area where I put in some just kind of like some tunnels here and like a little place for some guards or workers or something to sit, and there's a little storage room in there. Then around this corner there's some more storage and more storage, so just kind of like a little cellar where there's storage and just a couple guys, who maybe move stuff and work down here. So that is the circular tower. I really like how I made the roof look. It took me a minute to figure out how to make it look like that, but then once I finished it, I was like, you know what, that looks cool. I like that. Before we get to the final part of the castle, which is the most recent thing I've built, there's this little section here, which is the only thing left I have to build before the overall structure of the whole castle, the towers and walls and buildings are all complete, is this gap here. You may notice there's a bit of a gap where there's no wall. So that's the last thing I have to do here is connect these two towers with a wall, and then all of the structure for the entire castle, all the walls, all the towers will be completed. I'll still have to finish a lot of details and figure out what the inside's going to look like. There's a big space here which I'm not sure what to do with, so I'll figure that out. But the basic layout and all that stuff will be done. It will be built. And here is the last part. This is the most recent thing I've built. The only thing that was not on stream. Everything else in my previous live streams was, I built all that. So this is something that I didn't feel like live streaming it. I just built it on my own. Just felt like sitting down and, just building it by myself. This second circular tower I technically did not build because I just copied and pasted it with a world edit. If you're someone who's into these big Minecraft builds with whether it's Conquest Reforged mod, maybe it's just vanilla or a different mod, but if you like doing these big Minecraft builds, cannot recommend world edit enough. It is very useful. There's a little wand tool where you can make selections and you can copy, paste, and make edits. Like for example, if I wanted to do a command prompt for the wand, I could use the wand tool to literally select this entire building, copy it, or move it, or whatever. I could put in a prompt for move and then move it literally wherever I want, and the whole thing will move all in one piece. So that's probably the most, in my opinion, most useful thing, most useful part of most useful part of World Edit is that feature. But yeah, if you like doing this building stuff, very useful. But now let's take a look at this building, which if you haven't figured out yet, is the main hall, the grand hall. The lord of this castle, the noble, whoever the rich noble guy is who lives here, the grand hall is where he lives and where he entertains guests and where he holds his court, and all of the people of his realm come to meet with him. You have this big staircase going up and big doorway, and let's go inside and take a look. So this is the main place where you enter. Maybe when guests first enter, they mingle in here, and So through here, I gotta remember what everything is in here. I just built this, so some of it is not furnished yet. Some of the interior is a little empty. But you know what? Let's just go straight into the main gathering part, the main hall. This is where everybody, whoever you are, if you're invited into the main hall, this is where you're going to be hanging out. In this huge hall here. It's a little dark in here. I maybe will figure out how to lighten it up a bit, or maybe I won't because it's kind of moody and it's kind of cool like that. But maybe I can give you a little more better view here. But we basically have this kind of design of the kind of wraparound second floor with big pillars supporting it, and then just kind of big open space in the middle, and then these huge fire pits. And then eventually I will put in like tables and stuff around here, and spots for people to sit and eat and mingle and all that. So then I have over here probably what will be more of like the servant type quarters. So for example, this will be the kitchen. This big massive kitchen with a huge fireplace will be where everything is cooked, and then there's a doorway here where it will be brought through to the hall where everybody's feasting. Like for example, if you have a big feast here and there's it's basically a giant party with a bunch of people invited, you're gonna have a lot of people to feed, and you'll be non-stop in here cooking, pumping out food, and they'll be going through these doors. But yeah, it would be probably very busy, bustling in here. It'd be pretty cool. Lots of servants in here. I'll show you real quick this little passageway. Since this is an outside facing wall, it also needs to have some sort of defenses, because if there's a portion of the outside of your castle that has no defenses, that is a weak spot. So here we have arrow slits, and these arrow slits go pretty much the entire length of the hall. They go all the way down. Yeah, pretty much the entire length is arrow slits all the way down. So there is no shortage of places for archers to line up and fire out these arrow slits at attackers. So then through here there's a little middle corridor, and then another corridor down here, and then we just kind of have a storage room where all of the we got like firewood, a shit ton of firewood. We got just kind of what would you call that? Casks, barrels, just all kinds of stuff, food, So that's where all that is kept. And then through here, we're back again. We circled back around to the main entrance, and this area right here. So then let me take you back through here. We're gonna go all the way back through the kitchen, way back here where we have the servants' quarters. The other thing is up the staircase is now we have the kind of, and you can see here it goes out to the second floor there. But this is going to be kind of the master's quarters, the noble, where the noble and his family. This is the area. These are the quarters where he's going to be living. So it's on the second level, and now through here we have a nice dining room where the noble or the lord of this castle sits with his family and eats. This fancy table with these fancy cabinets and fancy shelves, nice paintings. So this painting's kind of cool. We can imagine maybe that's the Lord himself there. Maybe that's like a portrait of him. He's got a big portrait of himself up on his wall where he eats. Maybe that's his wife. And this is their big dining room. So then you go through to here. We have a corridor here. And now we're going to look at the Lord's personal chambers. This is kind of the master bedroom. This is where he comes to sleep and study or write things down. He's got books here. He's got a little desk with books and stuff. And a nice fireplace here. And yeah, this is the master's chambers, the Lord's bedroom here. Through here we have a little chamber where we have like a bathtub, and this is kind of where he, bathes and stuff like that. And then we have through here, I think you can guess what this is. This is a little something I learned about where in medieval bathrooms, where it wouldn't be so much of a problem like having a bad smell, because this goes through, it hangs over the outside wall, so it literally just drops down to the outside. So there's a good maybe 100-foot drop below the toilet. So it would drop down there, it would be gone. You probably wouldn't smell it at all. But just since it is a bathroom, they would have things like herbs hanging, so you'd kind of give a nice fragrance to the bathroom. So you wouldn't end up with a smelly bathroom. You'd have nice fragrance. Those were the air fresheners of the medieval period. Was hanging dried herbs that smelled nice. So then we go through here, and let's see. There's kind of just more rooms and passageways and stuff. I haven't really turned them into anything yet. They've not been furnished or anything, so they're kind of just rooms at the moment. We have a spiral staircase here going up. Let's see. Oh yeah, up here is the very top. You can see that's where the roof is. So the very top of the hall. This is where I'm just going to kind of put servants' quarters and put in, a bunch of beds and stuff, and a smaller kitchen, and just kind of like where all the servants live. This is just kind of like a little room there. But yeah, none of this really is anything yet. There's not like a purpose to it yet. It's just kind of here because I built it, and I haven't turned it into anything yet. It's not really furnished yet, but I'm trying to figure out how do I get to I'm probably there's probably going to be a bit of reworking. I may redesign things a little bit, make them make a little more sense, because I'm trying to think how the hell I can't remember how I get to see right there is a bit of a design flaw. Is from here, you can't get up to this little walkway here. You have to go all the way to the other side, to the other spiral staircase, all the way on the far corner, and then come through this corridor and go down here. So I'm already finding things I'm going to redesign, because this is a bit of a design flaw. You can't get up to this walkway from this side. But this goes through here there's a second level of defenses. So if if you didn't think there was enough arrow slits down by the kitchen in that little passageway, we have more. There is a second level where there are more, just in case you didn't think we had enough. But oh yeah, you can get up to it from here. Then you go down here, and I think that's about it. I'll show you the towers we have here. I'll show you the other one. I have these corner towers where you can see right there. Well, you can't really see much, but there's the top of the tower, and yeah, it's kind of I guess it's a little more for looks. It doesn't really serve that much of a purpose, but there's some corner towers on the corners of the hall, and then on each side of this, we also have some arrow slits. So it does kind of serve a purpose, because if this tower didn't have any defenses, no arrow slits on it, nothing, no defensive anything, then it's a little bit of a weak point, because it's kind of a little bit of a blind spot, because you are kind of far away from that big round tower over there, so you're a little distance from it. Then you're pretty far away from the big tower over here, and these are at too much of a angle, too much of a 90-degree angle to be able to actually shoot any arrows over here. You wouldn't really be able to see over here, so it would be kind of a blind spot, you know. It would be a nice little spot to kind of like hide, and you know, nobody would really be able to get to you. So that's when you're thinking about how to defend a castle, you got to think about spots like that where it's a little bit of a blind spot. So that's what these arrow slits are for, because it kind of gets rid of the blind spot. If you're standing out here, you know, there's a couple arrow slits here that can see you, and they're going to shoot arrows at you. And then beyond that, actually, I didn't think about this. Once you get up to the wall, then nobody can really reach you here. Nobody can really, it's too much of an awkward angle. I don't think anybody could shoot any arrows at you. So that's something I didn't even think about. So I think I will add to these towers some machiculations, which, if you don't know what that means, is kind of a protruding battlement where it kind of it's an overhang off of the top of the tower, so that it gives you actually, you know what, I can show you exactly what it is. It basically gives you an overhang, and then you can see straight down to the base of the wall or the tower, so that there's no room for any blind spots. There's nowhere to hide, and you can shoot arrows straight down to the base, and it gets rid of any place that any attacker could hide and get close to the castle. So basically that's what that does, which I will be adding to this tower, because I realized if you're on the inside, you can remember when we were on the inside of this tower, you couldn't see anything. You can just see out, but you can't see anything down there. So that's the whole point, is you can't see anything down there. So somebody could walk up to the base of that tower, and they'd be fine. They'd be in the clear. Nobody would be able to reach them. And then, you know, it's a weak point. So that's what I'm going to add to this tower, because that's a bit of a defensive weakness. But anyway, that is the whole castle. And down there is the little village that I did a video on, so you can see where it is in relation to the castle. But I am almost finished with building this whole castle. I just got to finish building that gap of wall there, and then after that, it's just going to be, I'm going to be making adjustments. I'm going to be maybe adding things. I'm going to be like where I was going to add to that tower, because I realized there was a defensive weakness. Just kind of that. I'm going to be refining it and making it the best design I can with what I've built here. And then I'll probably make another video kind of showing you the absolute final product, the final castle, and it'll be pretty cool. So hopefully you enjoyed this little castle tour. Maybe hopefully I added in enough little historical and practical castle commentary to make it interesting. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed seeing my little castle here. It's on its way to being done. I'm almost finished with it. I look forward to being able to show that off in the next video on this castle. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, give me a little thumbs up down there. Also, I realized I don't have a name for this castle yet. I have no idea what I'm gonna name it. So if you watched to this point and you have any ideas for a castle name, go ahead and leave a comment telling me what that is, and maybe I'll name the castle that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you later.